What the hell is wrong with her tonight? I can't seem to say or do the right thing. Dun dun.
Like Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson's great. It's different for girls. One of the good Joe Jackson songs is She Really Going Out With Him?
Is she really going out with him? Is she really gonna take him home tonight? Is she really going out with him? Out with my there's something going on around here. Doom 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 doom. That one.
Joe Jackson's really good.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to episode, is it 35?
I don't know anymore. It's so long ago.
It's been so long that we haven't really been in touch.
We can find out.
We do have ways of making you talk. Right, there's a little channel update for you. 2,502 people are subscribed to listening to us talk shit in the
That's
pub.
amazing.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? 2,500 people. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Imagine all those people in your front room.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And last month we made £21.
Did we?
That's pretty good.
Mate.
That's between us though.
That's amazing.
So that's £4 for you and £16, £17 for me.
Yeah, seems fair.
Right, so last one went well, but the last one was 41 days ago.
Oh.
That can't be right.
Yeah, that's not good.
41 days, and it was episode 34, yeah. So, hello and welcome to episode 35. And thank you for your support, and apologies that we've not been doing more of these, but the reason for why is that, as you can tell, because I'm now a lot more attractive all of a sudden, is I've been doing my motorcycle test. And it's like if someone said to you, right, you've got to take 2 weeks off. And I'm like, I can't take 2 weeks off, like, it's insane. But that's the amount of days that I've been doing it, but they've all been spread out.
Yeah.
So it just means that everything that I've... Because, you know, I'm so busy anyway, but it's just been hectic as, man.
Are you going to keep wearing that even though you failed your test today?
I didn't fail, I got it, I won. And here's a picture of my motorcycle outside where we are. Actually, can't say it because people find out where we are. You probably know anyway. It says it on the fucking window.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
Was it, you know, when you
Passed,
took
didn't fail.
your car test? Can you remember did you pass your car test first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got loads of minors. I think you're allowed 15 minors, and I got 13.
What, on your car test?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But I only had 2 lessons. 2 lessons in a mock.
Yeah.
Because the instructor was like, so let's book you in for a big block of lessons. And I was like, mate, there's no need. There's no need.
Yeah.
Don't need to do that.
Yeah. Imagine being really cocky before a test.
Oh no, well, I'll tell you about that guy from today. I guess maybe not. Yeah, maybe I will. But one of the reasons why I said that to my car instructor was partly because I was cocky and thought I passed, but also I'd been using the car to drive to work for the previous 6 months. So I was pretty all right with it.
That's really good.
He was like, we're going to start with clutch control. And I was like, mate, I've been like doing handbrake turns and that. Don't worry about it. I was learning how to do J turns in the field the other day.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So were you, but my point is, were you nervous about your test this morning?
Oh, in all seriousness, like, it has been one of the most nerve-wracking experiences
Really?
of my life.
Are you joking?
Just think now, realistically, when was the last time you were properly tested under, like, you know, you've got a guy with a clipboard and he's like, I don't mean for, you know, diseases, I mean for, like, for an exam.
Yeah, flying was for me, that's it, but nothing since flying.
How long ago was your last flight exam? How does that work? Does he fly a plane behind you in a little radio?
Mate, you're constantly checked. It's a pain in the arse. And you're quite happy flying around in your own. They go, oh, we need to do like a little standards check on you.
What? And is that just you specifically?
Yeah, and they just jump, no, everybody.
Oh,
and
okay.
they jump in the back seat and like fly with you and it's getting, yeah. Why were you doing 450 knots on the way towards the airfield? Wouldn't go any faster. No, it's 350 knots. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, sorry.
I'll make sure I don't do it again.
Yeah, really sorry about that. No,
I just thought as well, we forgot to check the microphones. But yeah, carry on.
No, but you are right. But it is a bit squeaky bum being properly checked, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and because the thing is, the last time I was examined was when I was doing my car licence 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago. So there's been no sort of exam conditions for ages, and I've just had 4 in the space of like 2 weeks.
What are they then? So CBT, I guess.
So the CBT, people say, the CBT is not a test, but if you don't pass it, you're not going any further.
Yeah.
So it kind of is a test, really. And they say, you can't fail it. You can. I've seen people, and I've heard all the stories.
Yeah.
The guy that was just there, he was getting on for 80. I think he was about 79, something like that, he said. Great bloke. He said, and he had grandfather rights with his licence, so he could ride a motorbike. He had the sort of full licence, but he hadn't ridden for years, and he wanted to go out again. And he was just like, look, can I come and do a CBT and just make sure I'm up to standard and stuff like that?
That was his mistake.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Throw a leg over, mate. Get on with it. What a way to go out. What a way to go out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, they're not going to... They can't take his licence. So
No.
he probably could...
So he could anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is he went out and came back, and Mike was like... no, mate, we're not going to give you a CBT. Because you get a certificate with a CBT.
Yeah.
It lasts for 2 years. And they were like, we're not giving you a CBT
What was
certificate.
Did they go into detail? Was it like his bike control was...
Yeah, because CBTs are all about, can you manoeuvre, can you start, can you stop, getting legs down, checking mirrors. He could hardly turn his head.
Yeah.
You've got to be doing lifesavers all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checking your bird hasn't fallen off.
You'll never do that again, mate. You've just got mirrors now, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. The majority of the stuff I've learned over the past few weeks, I'm now going to drop like that, because a lot of it is just, and even I shouldn't say this really, but some people that were there said a lot of it is just to make sure you can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's all, but he said that one of the best ways he put it was keep yourself safe. So whatever you have to do, whether it's a lifesaver, whether it's at the moment, all I need to do is look directly ahead because there's some stuff happening over there. Forget about all the stuff behind you.
Yeah, the carnage you're leaving behind you.
Yeah, concentrate on the thing that you might hit or you might cause you to fall off or something. So you just take it, just be sensible and look after yourself.
Were they good? Were they quite like anally retentive, or were they quite relaxed?
They were the best group of blokes I've been around in a long time. Like they were just amazing. Ex forces.
Okay.
One of them. So one of them called Dave. I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this. If he's listening. So part of the CBT is an emergency stop.
Yeah.
Right? And the emergency stop, you hold your hand up like that. You're cycling whatever.
Yeah.
And see, I'm already forgetting.
Yeah.
And the instructor,
They'll be so proud, mate.
yeah, so proud. Puts the hand up like that, and when they want you to do an emergency stop, and he stood like down the field somewhere like that. So I'm going on, and you've got to remember a sequence to do the emergency stop correctly. So you've got to make sure, first of all, you're carrying on and you just front brake 90%, rear brake 10%, and you've got to get your left foot down. That's pretty much all you've got to do in an emergency stop. If you want, you can pull the clutch in at the end, and there's all these sorts of things. So you really...
And if you need to, don't you? Otherwise the engine stops.
Well, stalling it's fine. You can stall it because they want you to use engine braking up until the last second.
See.
But there's a lot of like the that sort of stuff. So I'm having to try and remember the sequence for all this because I've never ridden a bike.
Fair play.
Like, so a lot of this isn't second nature.
Yeah,
to me,
fair play. Yeah.
So I'm having to learn it all. So anyway, I'm going along and Dave's there, and he puts his hand up, and he's missing his little finger. So he puts out and stuff, and I'm looking. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. He's missing a foot. Oh, and I fucked it. Like, and I pull it. He goes, mate, what are you doing? You know the sequence. What's going on? I was like,
What happened to your finger?
I was like, I just lost. I was laughing under my helmet. I was like, I just lost my concentration for a second there. Sorry, Dave. I never asked him what happened to his finger, but he was in the forces for like 30 years or something. He said before he went doing motorcycles, and it was his training school.
We had a guy came to work with us flying the. He wanted to be a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle pilot, and his index finger on his right hand was gone from the knuckle up, some sort of like engineering injury. And the chief pilot we've got is an ex-RAF guy, a fucking hilarious bloke, and he's going, yeah, all right. He said, we'll just do a quick check. He said, so if you just grab the control column. And so he grabs the stick with his right hand, with his left hand. He went, no, other hand, mate, okay. And he said, right, just pull that button on the front. And he uses his middle finger. He went, no, use your top finger. And he's going, oh, mate, can't, what's wrong with you? And he said, you know I've got a fucking missing index finger. He went, oh, yeah, you can't do this.
He's just really labouring it. Yeah. Fucking love it.
Cruel. So that school then, do we give a shout out to that lot? They're good, really good.
Yeah, I hope they don't mind me saying, but it's the Ride.
Good.
The Ride Academy in Chester. We work out of Bill Smith's Honda, who again have been amazing. But the Ride Academy are fantastic. So there's 4 trainers.
Yeah.
And Luke as well. I don't think Luke's a trainer. I think he just does more of the business sort of side of it. But he's a motorcyclist. And they're fantastic.
Like you.
Yeah. Sorry, we're a motorcyclist.
Yeah.
So Mike was probably my favourite. He was the one that did the CBT. He was just a great bloke. And he very kept... Because the CBT is the first thing you do. So I was shitting bricks. Like, honestly, I was just like, I'm going to fuck this up so badly. I know I am. Because, again, you've just never been tested. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But when it's
don't look at me.
Yeah, when it's complete, and you've got someone there like, right, you do this, do that. I find it hard to follow instructions sometimes. Yeah. So I was like, okay. But anyway, he just had this way of just putting you completely at ease. Like, so he was brilliant, and then Dave as well was just like absolute gentleman. Like, was always like, if you fucked up, he wasn't like.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, none of that. He was just like, it was always. He'd always end on a positive, and it was just really nice that because he was
it's called a shit sandwich. You know that, don't you?
What's that?
Well, in the debrief, when you're a student in the RF, you always have a shit sandwich. So it's like, really liked the way you put your boots on.
Yeah.
He said the flying was fucking awful, but you walked into the squadron with some real attitude. So you always put the bad bit in the middle.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So it was pretty much that, but it was just a very nice. Academy, do you know what I mean? They were very, very good. It was a good bike school, and there was people there that had been to other bike schools and had then moved on to
and said it was better.
They'd moved on to the Ride Academy.
Okay.
They'd left their bike school.
Okay.
And you can tell why, because you are one-on-one. So if you get an instructor that you don't like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you are one-on-one like with these guys, and if you don't get along with them, there was a couple of people taking the test as well. They try so hard to be dead nice, but there's a couple of people a little bit annoying, a little bit cocky sometimes.
Yeah.
Lad, it was the shine. I got taken off winning my license.
Winning, I like that. You do win it, don't you?
I did win it, yeah. And there was a loser there, unfortunately, with me. So 2 of us went down this morning.
Yeah.
And only 1 came back.
Yeah.
But two of us went down, and this lad, he was probably my age, maybe a touch younger. He was sound enough, but like, I asked. Part of the test is you've got to know where the oil is, and you've got to know where the brake fluid is, and what happens with your chain.
Yeah.
You know how to just a bit of sort of basic stuff. I don't really know anything about bikes, so when I was there, I was like, look, I know it's a little bit late, but before we go, can you just talk me through? I'm talking to my instructor now. Yeah. can you just talk me through the oil and the all that sort of stuff? Just show me where it is. I know what it is, but he just show me exactly so I don't make a fool of myself and say, oh, no, that's the fucking coolant or something.
Yeah.
And he went as if like to go to answer, and this other lad who was doing his test as well wasn't any more experienced than me on a bike.
Yeah.
Straight in there.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's this here. It's dead easy. It's that down there. It's this here. It's this. Oh, you got to do that there. And don't forget this as well, because he'll ask you about this. And I'm like, how do you know, mate? I don't want to hear from you. Like I want to hear from the guy that's been doing it for 20 years. Like,
yeah. There's always one, isn't there?
Always, he just knew it all. And then, so we went down to the test. He went out first with the tester.
Yeah.
And I went out after him. And when he came back, the tester told him he'd failed because he'd been speeding twice. There was a 50 zone that went down to 30 because of roadworks, and he didn't spot it. And I think a bit. I don't know if he was like just nervous or something because it's so nerve-wracking, but. I don't think he was paying massive amounts of attention, like.
Yeah.
But what that meant then is on the way back, and when we got back to the hut, I couldn't.
When they were like popping champagne and they brought out a massive cake with congratulations.
We couldn't do any of that.
And then there was a band. And, yeah.
Because he was miserable.
Why didn't he get rid of him? Go, mate.
Well, we have to sort of wait and pay the bill, so it's like it's so annoying. And and he was just miserable as fuck. And
He shouldn't laugh.
One of the reasons he was miserable as fuck as well is he was like, oh well, we'll get another test next week or whatever. And the woman behind the computer was like, you're looking at 6 weeks for another test.
Good, yeah.
So he was raging.
Yeah,
absolutely raging. And again, I felt very sorry for him because he was sound enough, but I just think maybe if he'd have just done less of that, more of that, like.
So now you've passed it. Did you buy a nice little Honda 250 to like work on?
Yeah.
And just like
work
get into it, and something that's very controllable, not too much performance.
Yeah, lightweight.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna.
Yeah.
But then I did walk into Bill Smith's.
Yeah.
And there was a 1700cc Harley Davidson Fat Bop, which I thought would look exceptional next to the truck, and it does.
It does.
And it was my first time riding it. It's here tonight outside, and we could maybe go have a little look later.
Yeah.
But it's here. Oh shit! Might have to ride it in the dark. Oh fuck. My first time riding it tonight, and it's a pig. It's an absolute pig.
It weighs about. It's made of depleted uranium, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the fucking heaviest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, going from the side stand to upright.
Yeah.
You need to be like the world's strongest man.
Yeah. It's really difficult.
Yeah. If it fell over, you just have to like cover it in concrete.
Yeah. I don't. It's really new that started doing that. Have you noticed?
We need a joiner.
Had some big chunkies on there.
We need a join.
But yes, if you drop it, so one thing I joke a little bit about the biking and stuff, but I'm shit. I'm really shit, and I just need more time behind the bars.
Yeah, of course.
And going on that Harley Davidson, potentially as a first bike, was a bit of an idiot move. Because one of the things is, because it's a V twin and the engine's this big, it shakes the whole bike. So you can't see out your mirrors. Yeah. You can't see all the mirrors. All you can see is, maybe there's a car there. Maybe.
No, it's a house. What's that disease you get from like digging holes in the road with a jackhammer?
Vibration white. Yeah.
You're gonna get that.
Yeah. You the whole
and you're gonna
thing
be infertile as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You need to have sex with a woman for that. But I'm hoping this will help. But yeah,
vibration.
Get on the back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's incredible. But I think it's very comfortable once you get up to sort of 6,000 RPM and then sort of it levels out.
Yeah, and you can see in your mirrors again.
Yeah. You can't read the speedo or anything.
Really?
Yeah, it shakes like fuck, but it's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's so loud, and it doesn't overrun. So if
does it pop and bang?
Yeah, it's pop, 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 pop. Oh, fuck. fuck, this is cool as.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
It's very you, because
I think so,
it's like the
Vulgar.
bike version of the F250, isn't it,
Yeah.
really?
me, that and the F250 is just three dickheads, isn't it?
All needs a fucking Trump flag on it, that's about it.
I'm going to get one hanging off the back. One of those really long ones. That sort of do that up and down. But yeah, so
That's a successful day, wasn't it?
very successful day. And I was doing, apologies if you're watching and listening to this from the Tasty Classics side of things. Not had a video for 2 weeks, and it's because it takes forever to fix cars. Been doing the Panda, been doing brakes.
Looks
brake.
amazing.
Oh, it's so nice.
It looks amazing. That's a good paint job.
Yeah, it's really nice. But annoyingly, the paint match isn't too good. The colour match isn't amazing, but it's fine. It looks Gucci as it's a cool little car. But I'd been doing master cylinder and brake pipes for like 2 days because all parts were a little bit shit, and it's like you get the master cylinder and you got the reservoir.
Yeah.
And you have to use the original reservoir. And the original reservoir was a push fit into the top of the master cylinder. And this...
Why do you have to use the original reservoir?
I think because they just don't make them anymore, so they just send it without.
Oh, okay.
So again, quite frustrating and annoying because one was made in 1985, and the master cylinder was made yesterday, and they just don't match. So it just leaks everywhere, and you chase your tail constantly. And then I got all that done, took ages, and the brake pipe started leaking. And I had to change the brake pipe. It was one of the most awkward ones, and
brilliant.
So a bit of a pain. So it's just taking longer, but I'm hoping it's going to be out this weekend. Well, Thursday night, Friday night.
Cool.
It's exciting. Anyway, what about... we put a post up recently saying that... sorry, we haven't been doing it for ages, but I've been doing the bike test, and you have been...
Busy?
Weapons of mass destruction, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah. I noticed I don't know where his name is actually, but somebody said, "Oh yeah, nice one, mate," blaming like geopolitical events on not doing a podcast.
I thought that was hilarious.
But I love that. But yeah, if you're working for the defence industry, at the moment it's bonkers.
So what is that? Why is that bonkers at the
Just
moment?
because
of these
all of the
tariffs?
MOD are like winding everything up, aren't they? You know, with what's happening in Ukraine, with the Trump being an absolute arsehole and threatening to pull out of NATO, us feeling very unsure about... America's always been there. It's got the biggest military in the world, always been there, and basically can't rely on them anymore. So there's a huge shift in like the world order. I don't want to get into this boring bollocks.
No, it's very
but the end
interesting.
result is that Europe is like ramping up massively to look after. Well, obviously there's the EU and we're outside of that now, but we're very much part of it militarily and from a NATO perspective with Canada, and it's just like they're busy. So the stuff that we do links into that to allow them to train, and they want a lot of our services. So yeah.
So you've been
The sort of thing I'm talking about.
And you've been trying to write books as well.
Yeah, still doing that. So that's going well. Yeah, just busy, but
You're selling many of the Mind diets?
Yeah, but it's on average it's about 3 a day, and it's ramping up slowly.
I mean, that's a significant amount.
It is, isn't it?
It is, because usually you'd be selling 0.
Usually what?
Well,
if you didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah, but also most people who make self-published books and stuff, they do tend to sort of not really sell any.
Yeah, no, they every day they're selling,
which is amazing.
Yeah,
I have my copy at home.
Do you?
Yeah. Giving it a little read. Just have to sort of work around all the sort of chat GPT stuff, really.
Cheeky bastard.
No, it's very interesting. And again, I'm sort of, as things, I'm liking more of a healthier lifestyle, even though I was there 3 nights this weekend.
Yeah, how did that work out for you?
So good. But there's a lot of good stuff in there about the sort of stuff to eat and why and things, and it does make a difference, really, doesn't it? And I think it'd be nice to get to your age and be as fit and healthy as you.
Well, I'm back on it. I'm running
That's amazing.
So it came back. Another thing, because I went on holiday, that screwed up another week and a half of podcasting.
Yeah, you did a week of skiing.
And there's a very, very unforgiving mirror in that apartment. And I stepped out of the shower and went, what have you done to yourself?
Too much cheese and wine.
Have you done to yourself since? Because I hadn't run since November.
Oh, fuck.
But back on it now.
Well, it's so I haven't run for a little while just because, again, I'm just every day is full. My entire day is full.
Well, that panda, just to give an illustration, because I was like really interested in that day that you said, right, I'm going to get this panda done. Like, didn't you just like start at 9 o'clock till midnight or something?
Yeah. That was that Saturday or so? Oh no, what day was it we were going to do it? It was Wednesday, wasn't it?
It was Wednesday.
We said we were going to
definitely do a podcast
night.
last Wednesday.
And because I was doing the paintwork and I just thought I haven't got time to spread this over days, and so I did 9 o'clock in the morning until midnight. I'm flat out on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it looks
really cool.
Nice.
Weather helps, doesn't it? Help with like things like paintwork.
Yeah, and mentally.
Having the door open and like when it's damp and you're spraying. Running. Yeah,
when it's not pissing it down and freezing cold is better.
Really good.
It is nice.
Really good.
So how many times have you been out?
About half a dozen times, I reckon, so far. I went today, did 4 miles today.
Nice, okay.
Which is too far. It's too far. Like my brain remembers,
Yeah.
like going, that's a lovely run. That I'll just go and do that. So I get back. That's too far, mate.
What's the usual, like 3?
It's normally about 3, yeah.
Yeah, because that's like a 5k, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I do. And I couldn't run any further.
You could. Of course you could.
I think one of the things you've got to do is if you know you're going further, you pace yourself a little bit better, don't you?
Yeah, go slow,
yeah.
Until you see somebody, and do you speed up when you see somebody?
You have to.
I don't anymore, but I know, I guess that you did.
One of the worst things that can possibly happen when you're out for a run
is a woman
you're blowing out your ass. It's like, if you're doing a good pace, and because what I do is I'll set, like I'll go right by the time I get to that gate, I'm going to just slow down a bit and I'm just going to go back to a bit of a jog, and then I'll speed up again when I get to the top of the hill.
Yeah,
because there's a fucking big hill that you got to run up, and as you start doing that and you start running, before you've had a chance to slow down, just like some hot babe starts like walking and running down there, and you're like, I can't. There is no way I can now
You're so
slow
shallow.
down.
You never see them again.
Even then they'd be like, why is he slowed down?
Yeah, but they're not.
They're
they're going, oh my God, I hope my hair's all right.
Yeah,
they're not thinking about you.
That's true. But either way, so by the time you get to the top of the hill, you are.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And another thing as well, the blood pressure thing, I completely ignored it. They've stopped ringing now, the doctors.
They will eventually.
Yeah. I might have to. I'll go and see them again at some point. But I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any drugs or anything, so I can't.
Are you taking any blood pressure readings?
No, no more readings.
No,
but I will do.
You don't want to look at that. That's scary.
Absolutely, but I was going to when just a few more months. I don't want to look. But again, it's just I truly believe a lot of it is mind related. So if you know something's going to happen, chances are it might happen. So like if you go into a corner on a motorbike, Wynne.
Yeah.
Because I've got a motorbike license.
Have you? Yeah.
And if you I think if you're in your head and you go, oh, I'm going to struggle here, you will.
Yeah.
But if you go into it like, it's easy, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it's the same with blood pressure.
So you're manifesting low blood pressure. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I think sure that's total. I mean,
and if you could tell people that at my funeral,
that would be
right. Great. I would love that.
He ignored everything. That's what it'll say.
We all told him.
Yeah, we told him. He wouldn't listen.
How's that buckskin?
Oh, it's really nice. You need a couple of those. You'll be a lot better on the way home.
I might have one.
What else? I was thinking the other day about somebody was talking about nicknames and the RAF is good for nicknames.
Yeah, nice, okay.
And we had this
conversation. What was yours?
I didn't have one because I got a stupid name. And Wynne, it's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do with that? But we had a guy called Ovlov because he was knocked off his motorbike by a Volvo lorry. So that was quite good.
Nice, brilliant.
Throm, because he was a slow-moving clot. It's like, as in thrombosis. But some of them are outrageous. Like Chemo, there's a guy who had no hair, and he was always known as Chemo forever.
But he was just bald.
He was just bald.
That's hilarious.
There's a guy whose last name was Kid, but he was known as Fiddler because it went from Kid to Kitty to Fiddler.
Yeah.
But nobody, it's like he was always Fiddler. So that was
Imagine that. He'd be so annoyed.
I know.
That's hilarious, though.
Yeah, but so that was a good conversation, actually. I think there were some others. Gimlet, because he was a boring tool.
What's it?
It's like a woodwork thing, for like starting off a screw.
Boring.
A boring tool.
Oh, get it. Yeah, lovely. Doesn't work as well because you had to explain it.
Yeah.
I was called a bulldozer when I was a kid.
Were you?
By other kids' parents.
Yeah.
Because I once, like when I was at my friend's house, sort of like ran-ish through the kitchen and kind of tripped up and fucking knocked every single thing off their counter in their house. And it
stuck.
Yeah, I was the bulldozer.
Yeah.
But looking back at it now as well, I got everybody else's parents call me the bulldozer, so that must have gone round like, don't let Ben run in the house.
How old were you then? Like 25?
Yeah. No, it must have been 10. Maybe 9 or 10.
Oh my God.
That did stick with me, that.
Yeah. There are a couple, I mean, these aren't RF ones, and they have been talked about before, but they crack me up. There's a guy called Wayne Bruce.
Right.
And he's known as Man Bat. Which is really cool. And the guy with one leg shorter than the other, called the Sniper's Nightmare. How cool is that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I do like the whole nickname thing.
Yeah, so do I. It's very, very
We
good.
used to have I talked about false name badges at air shows? So above your wings, you have or below your wings, it depends on different squadrons. But normally, above your wings, you have your name.
Yeah.
But at an air show, when you're going to get absolutely wankered, you don't want people to know who you are. You certainly don't want it sitting there. So you had like air show name badges.
Yeah, that's right.
So there was the Dutch pilot, Hertz van Rentel, which is a good one. There was
hilarious.
A Polish pilot, Onia Bakiewicz. And my favourite was like the army pilot, the posh army pilot, and it's Mike Hardington Fitzbadley. That's really good, that, isn't it?
Brilliant. Absolutely love it.
But the forces are very good for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
There's a guy called Fatal, and finally a proper fighter pilot's name. Yeah. But he's actually Fat Al.
That's brilliant. That's even better.
Yeah. Fat Al. So the thing was always to be the opposite of the whole, like, Iceman. The whole that whole
Fat Al
cool thing.
That's
it was
hilarious.
Obviously the opposite of that.
That is so funny. What else have you been up to?
What else have I been up to?
We've been. One of the reasons we haven't done a podcast, I think, in a while as well, is because we've just been in here getting pissed together as well. So
much fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But we are. We do get together and drink quite a lot, don't we?
One sad thing that's happened is that, that's both of my favourite aircraft that I flew. So the Hawk T Mark 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. The Red Arrows are still using it, but it's basically retired from the role that I sort of tested it for.
Right.
But last week the Puma retired.
The helicopter.
Yeah.
No way.
54 years it was in service.
Fucking hell.
I know. That's what I said.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Amazing piece of kit.
Why is it in service for so long?
Because it's good.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It did the job well. Medium lift helicopter, fast, handled beautifully.
Wow,
loads.
okay.
There'll be guys listening to this who were in the army, and they just definitely went on at some point, if they're in the inventory, got carried around in a Puma.
Wow,
So,
nice.
Great bit of kit. So that was quite not poignant, but that was quite cool to see that. They had a fly past. They had a 3 ship of pumas that flew out of Benson and did a huge like round robin around the road, the whole of the UK.
Oh, nice!
Like with the timings of where they'd be, so people can see 3 pumas flying over.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, and Northern Ireland as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I've been watching a few video clips from the big valley in Wales where they all...
Oh, the Mach Loop?
Yeah, the Mach Loop. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
It is cool.
And it's one of those things, it's like, in some ways, like car racing and motorbike racing and all this sort of stuff, because it's like, there's no reason for them to be doing it, really.
Well, no, it's terrain masking, it's training.
I get it, but, you know, they are kind of just having
It was going down the Mach Loop, so if you've
because
ever...
a lot of them, like, will do, like, fun things. So, like, they go, oh, I hope he goes a bit, I hope he does it, and some of them go really fast and stuff, and you can tell they're doing it because there's people there watching and stuff.
None of that happens. So, so it's down there, going down the Mach Loop, because they have one-way systems, so like a lot of the valleys and stuff, there is a one-way system, because you don't want to, like turn around the corner and have an F-15 come the other way. Of
course, yeah.
So they do have a one-way system. As you enter the Mach Loop, so you go... Basically, Lake Bala points at the entrance to it. Nice. So you go up there and you go into the Mach Loop, and there's a road on the left-hand side. So if you drive from Machynlleth, that road comes up the valley. And as I was going down the Mach Loop, the guy flashed his lights at me.
Wow, nice.
So there's on the Hawk T-Mark 1, there's a very bright light on the front. It's like works as an anti-collision thing, but very bright. So I just flashed my light back again.
Amazing. That's so cool.
I'm sure they don't expect you to be able to see it, but you can see a lot.
Yeah,
you can see a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's just fascinating. It's really cool that they do that.
There are a few. There's
any accidents ever happened there on the Mach Loop?
I don't think so. I can't recall accident at the Mach. No, I don't think so.
I like it when they do the big planes through there, like the Hercules and stuff. That's quite cool because they're really big and it's quite low.
Yeah.
And you can get when people video it, you're looking at a side profile of the plane while it's in the air.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Which is it more, it's like you never usually see that. You usually just see the bottom.
Especially when you think they're all in there eating.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as they take off.
Microwaving a curry.
Yeah.
Are you going to the bar?
Yeah. Do you want buckskin?
Yeah, go on. If there's one going, I'll have a buckskin. Just pause for a second. I just go and check if the bike's still there.
Yeah.
Hello. We are back. Just check the microphone. Nah, be fine.
Be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, that was good when we all went for that big meal, didn't we? For
what kind was tapas?
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Always ends in getting absolutely annihilated, though, doesn't it? Which is
so
great.
shallow, isn't it? Well, let's go and have a lovely meal, and have some nice food, and then drink 1,000,000 gallons of whatever's on. You had like white.
It was rosé sangria, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was dead sound.
Yeah,
nice.
Like that.
A banging headache in the morning. The worst.
Funny that.
Last few days, well, but I've been out on a couple of little dates, you see.
Have you?
Couple of little babes knocking about,
Then any of them have pig's cheeks.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
It's a bit rude.
So we were sat around this table, and we'd all ordered our food, and the waitress, this young girl, comes over and she's bringing some of the food, and one of the things on the menu was pig's cheeks. That you could have as part of your tapas, and she came down and she went to put two plates of down. She goes, "I've got 2 pig's cheeks," and what did you say?
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I was increasing.
It didn't help because you lost it.
Nobody else heard it.
Mate, it's only you that gets my humour.
Yeah, nobody else heard it, and I was in.
And 2,500 people on here.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Don't be so hard on yourself. And she didn't get it.
She didn't get it.
She was like, what? And I was just dying on the other side of the table. It's so funny.
I even tried to... You never keep digging, do you? Because on the way out, I said sorry about the whole pig's cheeks thing, and she still didn't know what I was on about.
Yeah. So what's wrong with the pig's cheeks?
Yeah.
What's wrong with my pig's cheeks? But yeah, it was nice. Yeah, but yes, about on a couple of little dates. Nothing interesting really. Nothing to write home about yet. Let's see how it goes.
Just give up on it, mate.
I should
Just
do something.
stop.
Just marry my motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. Just join like the local chapter of the Hells Angels.
Yeah, that'd
and
be
just
cool.
go off. You know, they'll love your bike. They'll probably suggest some modifications like painting it matte black or something.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
No, I've changed my mind now.
yeah.
But yeah, good. One of them was from Dublin in Ireland.
See, that's normally good fun, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
good sense of humour and all that.
She was great, and the good thing is as well is that there's lack of chance of anything actually happening because she lives in Dublin.
Yeah.
Which is great because I like unattainable women.
Right, okay.
So if
Does that make him more attractive to you?
Yeah, because you don't have to do anything really, do you?
I love that. You don't have to make any effort.
Yeah, because you can't possibly see them because I'm too busy to do anything like that anyway.
Yeah.
So she lives there, so it's like, yes, cool, whatever.
Yeah, because Manchester is like 45 minutes away. You don't want that, do you?
Imagine how annoying that'd be.
Why aren't you coming over to see me?
It's cold, it's raining.
Oh, I've got to count my legs.
Yeah.
My paws are open.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so that went well then, did it?
It was nice. See how it goes.
Well, it's not going anywhere, is it? Unless you're moving to Dublin or she's
But it's nice to have girls in cities, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if ever needs.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Because I've got one in Cologne,
Yes.
in Germany, which
Yeah.
is nice, and now one in Dublin, which is great for us, isn't it? If I don't just have multiples.
Do you like the idea of them just sitting there sadly, like with a 1,000-yard stare listening to sad music going,
Yeah.
I
When's he
wonder-
going to come
I
to
wonder-
my town?
I wonder if he will ever come back.
Yeah, and then they might meet each other.
yeah.
Do you know Ben as well, then, dear?
Everyone knows Ben.
Everyone knows Ben.
That's right.
Bloody hell. He took me out for a drink and I had to pay.
That's the fella. Oh, no, that's two Irish people. That doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to be German. What about? I know we always sort of get into this, but mad things are happening because of these tariffs and stuff. Which I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about. You know more about than me. All I've heard is the word being used several times, and also what I do know is that Elon's fucked the job.
He really
He
has.
has pissed the bed
Yeah.
in a big way.
He
Like.
has.
Everything's taken a bit.
I had a
of
little
nosedive for
cry
him.
the other day. You know, he was on a news program and he actually got upset. But it's like, well, mate, you know, it's sort of self-induced, isn't it?
Yeah.
You tried politics. It's like, don't do that.
He should not have done that bit.
No.
He would have been fine doing what he was doing, but you can't you can't mix that all together.
But
you know?
I tell you what is pretty shagged is Tesla.
Sadly, yeah, they're. But the thing is that since we came out of COVID, the prices of Teslas have been. He's been knocking money off. He's been trying to get more and more market share for ages, and he's been doing that by knocking money off
Yeah.
and making them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And some of the finance deals that were going on in 2023.
Yeah.
After just after go when everybody was like, right, come on, let's try and sell as many. The cars have started to become available again.
Yeah.
Because they weren't really available before. Let's do some mega deals, and you can. There's always a saying with cars: you can always go down, but you can't go up.
Right.
In terms of
Have you
price.
seen that sort of with VW? Like if you
Oh, yeah,
if you
absolutely,
make
yeah,
the
yeah.
Polo sort of go from 5,999 to 5,499, you're not going back to 5,899.
It's difficult to put it back up.
Yeah.
Really difficult to put it back up, and that's new car prices they always go up, but. Well, like a specific car, but it is kind of the same with like lease deals. Because
Yeah.
lease deals are headlines, so people will see 289 quid a month. Fucking hell, it's a
I can do
bargain.
that.
Yeah, I can afford to.
Yeah.
You see 389 quid. Forget it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's really fucked the job because the take up of them is very slow. So he's now having to discount more, which means they're just not making money.
Yeah.
They're just not making money, and
But he's made it a brand that nobody wants to be associated with. Well, there are a few MAGA people who are happy to be, but like most of the globe don't want that Musk badge.
Yeah,
and
don't
that's
want
what
his
it is
products,
now.
yeah.
You know, so
And it kind of happened with Twitter as well. Like, Twitter's a cesspool.
Yeah.
Absolute cesspool. I don't know anybody on Twitter now.
no, it's true.
Which is a shame, because he sort of like, again, he could have done better with that. But what happened was, every time I went on, it was someone like being beheaded or something. So I was like, I don't really want to see this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was just ended up being a bit of a... But so he could have done a little bit better there,
Well,
really.
what he also did was he made it his megaphone. So like every
Yeah.
time you open it on your For You page,
It was hit-
was
what,
an
hit-
Elon like it isn't giving Trump a blowjob, and it's like it just gets boring. It's
Yeah.
like boring.
Yeah.
It's like
His
regardless of your political viewpoint, because I mean, let's not go there. But if you've got one brain cell and you love Trump, that's fine. But Elon is like, he's like, what's he doing there? Anyway, this is not this podcast, but he has absolutely screwed Tesla.
He's completely fucked the job. And that also has ramifications and knockoffs for every electric car out there, which is brilliant.
However,
What?
BYD are cleaning up.
Clean up. So they've well overtaken it. So last time we talked about it, they were just kind of over, but they've well overtaken now. They're miles ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of it, I'm led to believe, and I've looked a bit longer, is unsustainable discounting and unsustainable... what's the word for it when the government gives the
Subsidise?
money? Yeah. Unsustainable subsidising from the Chinese government.
Okay.
So, and it's a similar sort of thing with Tesla and stuff, really. You know, a car company can only last for so long if it's not being sort of propped up. One of the mad things about Tesla as well is that they don't have another revenue stream. So if you were, say, for example, Vauxhall, you might not realise this, but the parts side of Vauxhall is huge. So they will license companies like Blueprint and stuff like that, and Blueprint will copy Vauxhall's parts and stuff. So they'll and they can put OEM and all this sort of stuff on it, and people go to Vauxhall to buy parts, and Vauxhall will be fitting their own parts. And whenever there's a car that's crashed, if it's through the insurance, a lot of the times the parts are coming from Vauxhall. It's all, you know, they don't put not original manufacturer stuff on parts. And there's some parts as well that you can only buy from Vauxhall.
Okay.
Whereas with Tesla, there was a whole right to repair thing a while ago, because you can't really fix your own Teslas. They won't sell you the parts, or they will, but that's
So you have to go to a
difficult.
Tesla dealer.
Yeah. So they don't really have a parts revenue stream and a sort of fix sort of
right,
thing
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. So there's not.
I get you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's not an extra.
Is that
little bit
true of
cash
all
flow.
electric cars? Is there
Not really,
less
no.
to do on it?
But it comes down to everything like body parts and hoses and
okay.
clips and things like that. It's difficult to buy stuff for Teslas. Like it's not easy. But I think other manufacturers are fine. They always just have. I think most manufacturers you can buy anything. But Tesla has been traditionally very, very funny about it. And I'm not 100% sure why, but I think it was Musk trying to create a new way of owning cars. More of a subscription stuff. And then BMW tried it, do you know, with their electric car thing, that if you wanted cruise control, you could just pay a subscription and it would just be available.
Hang on, so it's on the car,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, what? And it's a software thing.
Pay for a subscription, you add it on your monthlies. So
That feels so wrong.
It's minging, isn't it? Absolutely
Yeah.
minging. So that's their whole thing, really. And again, you know, but I'm just not bothered, Wynne. I think Tesla will always be there in some form or description, but their market share is going to drop massively.
Do you think, that there was always about 5 years ago, there was always somebody in the pub who had this code So if you had a Fire Stick for your telly,
Yeah.
oh no, mate, I know somebody. It's like you can get everything on. Like, you can get it. I'll get you a Fire Stick. It's 25 quid, and you got everything.
Yeah.
Everything on it. It's just value. I get it. You can see you Monday. But they really were. They really were.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine some bloke going, "I'm on cruise control. There's no problem, mate. I can get you cruise control."
There is people hacking it and getting all the gear like for nothing, which is hilarious.
Yeah. One thing that BYD has announced is that they now claim that you can do an 85%, don't quote me on the amount, but it's something like 85% charge in the same amount of time it takes you to like fill a tank with petrol. So, and that's
Unless it's Harley Davidson Fat Bob. It only takes 10 litres.
Yeah, there you go. two petrol caps though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe balance or something.
Yeah, it could be.
So
So there's an aviation knock-on thing here as well. You know, I was talking about how
nobody buying those electric planes, are they?
No. So F-35 is amazing. So the RAF have bought a load of F-35s. We have the one. There's 3 models. There's the naval one, which has beefed up undercarriage for landing on like a traditional carrier.
Oh, cool.
There's the A model. So I think the C is the Navy one. The A is the normal Air Force one that you take off on a long runway sort of thing. And then we've got the B model, which is like the Harrier and it can hover. It's like the clever one that can...
That is super cool.
So we have that.
Nice.
But since the change of government, everybody's pivoted away from US defence products because there was a rumour that there was a switch. Now, this sounds like bollocks to me, I must say.
Right.
But there's a rumour there's a switch in the F-35B that if the US wanted to, a little bit like cruise control on the BMW, they could actually sort of degrade it. So in other words, if they sold the F-35 to a potential adversary, and then they're going to war against them, they can sort of like dumb down their kit. But now with the current government, and they're saying we can't trust these guys. You know, we can't trust them. You know, they're talking about like the whole tariff thing. So
I don't really. If you know more about it, it would be interesting.
Yeah. It's just on the news all the time, isn't it? So in a long story short, he's tariffed everybody. Everybody's 10%. We're 10% on all goods that we want to export to the US is a 10% tariff. So
your Range Rover's suddenly 10% more?
Well, Land Rover Jaguar have paused all exports to the US. They've said, we're going to have a little think about this.
Wow, nice.
I know, that's ballsy, isn't it?
That is very, very
It's
ballsy.
got to be a big market for them.
Range
Rovers?
I would imagine it'd be bigger than us by far. Like,
way bigger than us. But it's like, it's really interesting. It's like
Jaguar don't want to sell cars anyway, do they?
I know. So anyway, that's the whole tariff thing. He's tariffed everybody. Like EU, all EU countries, 20%. China 34% on all of their stuff. So China instantly today.
China has needed a bit of a tariff for a long time because I've always found it bizarre that you can buy on eBay like a plug, that you need, or any small item like that for like £1.99, and it can come from China all the way over in the post and arrive at your doorstep and be given to you cheaper than you can walk down there to a shop and buy one. That's always fucked me up because who's making money in that 1,000-mile journey? How can it afford? How can that plug or whatever it is afford the ticket all the way over and then have a postman bring it to my door? I've never understood that, and I think is 1 penny a lot of money to them? Because that's all they're making. Surely they can't be making. eBay's going to take a cut. Everybody's taking a cut. So for ages, I've thought, they need to. That shouldn't be a thing.
But what they've done, like today, which is really interesting. So there's a lot to this, and I'm not an expert by any means, but basically Trump put 34% tariff on China, so they instantly put a 34% tariff on the US, and as of today, Trump said, unless you take that 34% tariff off by, and I think it's something like by tomorrow, I'm going to put another 50% tariff on you. So it's just stupid.
Wow.
Mate, it's stupid. It's like, and you know, the financial markets are absolutely bombing. They're just like absolutely plunging.
Shit.
You know, and people in America care about that because a lot of people care about it, but they really do because all of their pensions are 401k, as everybody has.
It's
like
tied
pension
directly
stuff
to
the
it,
stock
yeah.
market, but you know,
Shit.
we will see. What was I going to say about BYD?
That's so interesting.
Yeah, but
isn't it?
they've got the capacity. China's massive. Their internal market is so big. I think they can ride it out. I think they're rolling big fat ones going, come on then.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our
yeah.
chance. You know, this is the end of the American empire.
They can ride it out more than a lot of other manufacturers
Absolutely.
can. More than Stellantis can. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you know.
so Macron, the French Prime Minister, has said that we are not buying any more. He's banned Jeep coming into France.
Wow.
No more Jeep, and any official contracts like military vehicles or government vehicles are Renault or Stellantis.
Wow.
I thought Renault was part of Stellantis, but he said Renault and Stellantis
I don't think
Renault's
not.
Okay, those are the only people they will deal with for vehicles. It's big.
But in some ways, I'm like, it's kind of good that we're trying to, because if we didn't try and create our own business and support our own business and our own manufacturing,
Yeah.
we would get to a point where every single thing in the world would come from China.
Yeah.
Eventually, that would just happen naturally. It
Yeah.
would just get more and more from China because they're good at making lots of stuff cheaper than we can because
Yeah.
they, 12-year-olds are making them, aren't they? You know, and they don't have to pay them as much.
Yeah.
And it's, have you seen like the vape things?
I don't really get vaping. I mean, I get it.
Vaping's pretty gross. I can't really stand it. I'm not into it at all. I think I hate the smell of someone else.
Do you know
doing a
what? Walking down the street
vape. And you get a whiff of watermelon smoke.
or you walk into like a pink cherry cloud. And why
man,
do they
it's
produce
rough.
more smoke than a cigarette?
Yeah.
You see people vaping out of a
Yeah.
car window, and
It's
it's
just not
like
for me,
a
like,
whole
at
village
all.
disappears.
Yeah. Have a proper cig.
Have a
Be a man.
Die like a man.
Die like a man.
So there's one quick aviation story. There's this guy called Spike who is so in the back of a helicopter you have a crewman.
Yeah.
And they basically look after the cabin area while you're flying. And at RF Shawbury there was an engine failure on a Wessex, and this guy Spike was the crewman, and he already had an eye patch from an accident.
Imagine if you got on it, you'd be like, oh, fuck.
Brilliant.
Great.
So the guy said, Captain Crew, got a problem with double engine failure. We're heading for feed.
He was like, only one's gone.
But he's downstairs with a load of passengers, and these passengers are University Air Squadron cadets, and they're quite young. And he said one of them starts like flapping about, and the pilot who I know said all he heard Spike was, he said, "Strap the fuck in and die like a man."
Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
like, thank you for
So
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yes, I mentioned the vapes thing because on the production lines in China where they're making a lot of these vapes, at the end there is a young lad or girl, and every like 20th of those little sticks vapes, and he has this special plastic thing in his mouth.
No.
And every 20th or something, he'll grab one and go.
Well, to check they work.
And that's his entire
Is that
day.
his job?
That's his entire day, just to make sure they work. So every 20th.
Doesn't he do just a little...
No, he has to do a proper big token. There's videos of him. You just search, there's loads of videos.
Oh my God.
The production line's insane. And this guy, he just looks like a dead person. Just a dead person. Like there's nothing. There's no colour in him.
It's like
he's just.
we used to do it on rabbits,
chemicals.
didn't we?
Yeah,
used to put like
but that is
lipstick in rabbits' eyes and things like that.
This is why we'll never win. We'll never win against China. So we have to. So I get that we're trying to sort of bolster up our own manufacturing and stuff.
Yeah.
But I hope more stuff in Britain starts to happen. Really.
That's the sort of shit you do with your new apprentice, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You get him to suck up car exhausts. Is that going to pass emissions?
That could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to sort of see how things go. But I think it's just bizarre. Like, I mean, and the thing as well, France, like you mentioned before, he's a fucking idiot, that bloke. So one of the problems we got, and it's similar over here, but it's much worse over there, and not just him, a lot of Europe. And one of the great things about Brexit and us leaving is this, right?
Come on.
So people often say, you know that new Renault 5, the electric Renault 5?
Yeah.
Because they go, oh, fucking hell, what a waste of a car. If they put a little 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine in that, it'd sell millions. You'd do so well if you put a little 2 litre 16 valve in that or something, just a little petrol engine, you'd sell loads. Why the hell are they only making it electric? And the reason is because the EU has, or just France, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know a lot of other countries are the same in Europe, have put these mad emissions taxes on cars, right? Mental emissions taxes. So a lot of this is from Harry's Garage. I've been watching, and he's worked it all out in terms of like what. So if you bought a brand new Renault 5 electric thing, the tax is very low on it. You don't pay much at all. It's fine.
Well, it's an incentive. That's what they want you to buy, isn't it?
So if Renault went, do you know what? Fuck you. We're going to put a 2 litre 16 valve in it. 1.8 valve. Let's bang it in. The cost of the tax of that would be like twice as much as the car. So no one would buy it. So they can't put a petrol engine in these things. And it's the same with all these other cool little cars that you've seen recently that you've gone, bloody hell, that'd be so smart if they just chucked a petrol engine in that. Your little Honda-y thing, all these cool little cars that you've got, that'd be so good if they just put a 2 litre diesel behind it.
I see a massive positive in this, in that look at the classic car market.
Well, you're saying that, but not... Classic car market isn't doing amazing at the moment.
No, but people are going to start to go, I want something that makes a nice noise.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the fastest thing in the world.
Well, thankfully, our country, we've put taxes up recently, but if you're complaining about the taxes that have gone up recently on cars, I'm telling you, I've seen some of the taxes in Europe and we are well cheaper. People in Europe can't believe how much less it costs us for like a Land Rover or something over here. We're so lucky, and fucking hell, if we just touch wood, we don't end up like paying that sort of money, because it would be a huge nightmare. Because we'd all be. Do you know Ireland? They have some of their taxes work on like luxury.
Yeah.
So they used to buy. So I used to work in Pentraeth. And they would buy our cars and ship them over to Ireland because we had stuff like fog lights. All the nice bits, all the trim, all the better trim and stuff, we have better spec'd car than them. So
but that was years ago. We were all in EU then.
Yeah, but they've always been fucked. They've always been like hard for tax anyway.
Oh, okay.
I get you. And now they're like, it's pretty crazy. Like, I think what was the car I was looking at? Guy was saying, I think it was something daft like a Fiat 500 a Bath, one of the little fast Fiat 500s. It was like, it wasn't one of those, I can't remember what it was. It was something like that, a little, it was a Yaris, GR Yaris, that fucking cool Yaris. Yeah. Over there, again, yearly tax is something like 10 grand.
No.
10 grand. You can't buy it. People they just don't buy. They don't have them. It's insane. Like, so we're very lucky at the moment that we're sort of just, we're getting by as we are, really. But that's, and it's mad, to now hear them talking about, like, you can only buy from Renault and Stellantis and stuff. And is it going to get to a point where, like, you can only buy electric cars?
Well, 2030 is supposed to be, isn't it? But they've just...
No way, man.
No, but there was something came out this week about the government saying we're going to relax that because,
relax your sphincter.
Just relax.
It can't possibly happen.
You won't allow it, will you?
No way. I'll get me and my other mates on Harleys with chains, swinging chains around that, and we'll go down there. And we'll,
some bike gang.
Yeah, we'll sort it all out. But yeah, it's a bit fucking nuts, isn't it?
So for somebody like, so a 17-year-old, first car type scenario, does a classic car work?
No, because you've got to be able to fix them.
No, I mean like purely cost-wise. So say you could buy like a 1980 Ford Fiesta or something like that.
So this is a very interesting point. The rolling 40-year rule, we've all got to shut up about. Because if that gets changed, we're fucked. Because what's happening is we're getting to the point now where a 1985 car is MOT and tax exempt.
Right. And they're fine.
And they're fine.
Yeah.
They're better than fine.
Yeah.
Like, you could get a 1985 Audi 100 estate.
Yeah.
Which has got
Is that the
everything.
really like smoothed out one?
Kind of, yeah. Just like a long, smooth, a big, it's a great estate car.
Yeah.
And they're economical enough. They'll do 35 to the gallon or whatever. They've got electric ABS, all the they've got all the gear. And you don't have to tax them. You don't have to MOT them. So we need to fucking shut up. Because if the government get hold of that,
because they've got enough to worry about, they're not looking at that, are they?
Exactly, they're not looking at that at the moment, and it will be a big problem if they do because it's so great.
1985,
205, 1.9 GTI, MOT exempt, tax exempt. It's fucking
what about,
cool, man.
So does that have any? So what about insurance? Is that different as a result?
Not really, no. Insurance has been going up loads in terms of cars.
So they don't care about the fact it's a classic car?
So it depends on your driving and who you are, your driving
so it still
history and
does.
stuff.
So you couldn't have a 17-year-old have a 1984
Peugeot
205.
They'll still be paying through the nose insurance because they won't be offered a classic
Well, they
car
won't, will they?
policy.
I will be.
So we would
talking about,
So we would be offered a classic car policy, but you have to have, like, to be offered a classic car policy, you have to be over, I think it's 25 or something like that, and you have to, and they are quite keen on stuff like, if you get a classic car policy and you say, yeah, I'm going to do 12,000 miles a year, they're like, no. This is a car that's meant to be in your garage and you use it every other weekend to go to a show and stuff. So they want you to be doing 2,000, 3,000 miles a year.
Okay.
So they want, doing that sort of mileage, they're kind of just like, well, you just have to be a normal sort of car policy, unless you do whatever, like. But
do they check though?
This is the thing. There's a little white plastic cap on top of your gearbox. And there's a big wire coming out of it that goes to your speedo and it spins around very, very fast. And all you've got to do is push it together and pull it out.
Yeah.
And you leave it there and shut up about it.
Just shut
up about it, right? But don't always leave it out.
No.
Put it in
I know.
a few times a year. Put it in for, May to July.
Yeah.
And then take it out again.
Exactly.
So it looks like it's doing some miles.
So my stepfather, when I was growing up, he had got a dentist drill.
Yeah.
Up and into the electricity meter, got a bit of copper wire and some putty.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the right length. So when he put it in, it stopped the little thing spinning. But he said he was very, very careful to say you've got to let it spin a bit.
Yes. Well, when I lived in this flat in St Cyril's Road in Llandudno, there was a 50p meter. you put coins in this fucking meter to get electricity. It was like being back in time. But you put like 50p in it. It was bizarre. And it had this massive tank on the bottom, and
Full of 50p's.
Full of 50p's because you just put 50p's in. So annoying having to go and get 50p's.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Just use the ones in the tank.
So it had.
Is that what you did?
So it had a padlock.
Yeah.
And the padlock was code. It was a code one. I'll never ever have a code padlock. Right. Never have a code padlock. Always have a key.
I could think you could pull on them a little bit and keep...
And you can feel it.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you've got a code padlock at home, I don't know if the new ones are better or something, or like really expensive ones are better. But if you've got just like a normal cheap little code padlock, go and have a go at picking it. Go on YouTube, there's so many videos of exactly how to pick it, but it is pretty much just you're winding it until you can just feel a tiny little movement, and then you go to the next one, tiny little movement, next one, tiny. And it does. So I did that on this 50p meter thing, and I used to put like, I think I put maybe 20% roughly in, and sort of that was it, and I'd just take more out.
And have all the radiators bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, and then the guy from the estate agent would come round and they'd empty it and all that sort of stuff. Great, yeah, see you later.
Yeah, it's great.
I did that for the entire time I lived there. It was wicked. And I've never paid a TV licence.
I know there's a point. It's about diminishing returns. At this point, there's no point, is there? If they said, "Oh, we're going to fine you £100," you go, "Great."
Yeah.
It's cost me £100 for like how many years?
Yeah.
Like,
I've never paid.
Yeah.
I've never ever paid for a TV
it's like
licence.
motorbike licenses. You don't need to do those.
So
10 years I was riding that.
Are you going to get one?
I don't need one.
Well, what's the worst that could happen?
I'd have to go through all the shit you've just done in the last...
No, I mean, if you just pretend that you haven't... Because what you could do is what I always try... If I'm going to break the law, I will always try and do it in a way where I could go, oh, fuck, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I tell them I'm 92.
Yeah.
I got-
you could go, oh,
I thought I'd grandfather
I thought I had
rights.
grandfather rights because I've flown a fucking jet.
I rode a Norton Commander for 10 years, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in the armed forces, mate. Come
Do you
on,
know what I
slow down.
think the way around it is I get a classic bike. Because nobody...
Never pulling in.
Who is... Like, I get...
How are you going to insure it, though?
I won't. I'll get a piss pot helmet.
Yeah.
You know, if it slides down the motorway in a ball of flames, I'll just like jump over the barrier and leg it across
Absolutely,
the field.
yeah, because it's a fucking... Just rag the rear plate off.
Yeah.
Don't have a front plate, just rag the rear plate off. Take that with you.
Exactly. That's the way forward.
100%. I think that'd be really good. And then we could go out and have rides.
And then
we could do podcasts from other places when we've been on our motorcycles.
I'll get a really beaten up second-hand bike jacket.
Yeah,
So it looks
well, that's
like-
what
With loads of road rash down it and shit like that.
I'm hoping this one gets a bit more worn in. That's why I'm wearing it in the bar.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get road rash on it.
Hopefully not. No. Yeah. It's pretty cool though. I like it. Big padding as well because it makes my tiny, skinny little arms look like I'm fucking solid.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, should we, just because I'm noticing it's now got dark and I'm a little bit concerned about riding my motorbike home
Love it.
at night.
Love it.
I imagine it's the same as the day.
It is. But what we used to say about night flying, bats and twats, mate. Just don't do it.
Fuck.
Bats and twats.
Shit.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note. We'll aim to do another one soon. Now that I've passed my test and I don't have to worry about all that shit.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for listening and watching and whatever.
See you soon.
And if you have enjoyed it and you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you could do that as well, that'd be cool because it'd be nice. We're on 2,500 now. It'd be nice by the time we do the next one to get to 2,501.
I love how people go, let's get to 5 million.
Yeah.
It's like 2,501 would be amazing.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye.